The Baltimore Ravens, a short time ago, reached agreement with Chargers defensive coordinator Jesse Minter on a 5-year contract to bring him back to Baltimore, where he started his NFL coaching career in 2017.
We're going to make it so right that we're going to have a lot of patience. Is that fair to say? We're going to be so confident in our choice.
We will be at our best when our best is needed.
The non-negotiables are that we are physical, okay, we're detailed, and we're explosive. Those are the three things that are pillars that we want to hang our hat on.
The Baltimore Ravens, their doctors, tell them they cannot conclude the trade for Max Crosby, have now reached agreement on a 4-year, $112 million contract with Trey Hendrickson.
Since 2021, Trey is second in the NFL in fourth quarter sacks.
It's gritty football, and it's the type of football I like to play, and winning games is the most exciting thing about being here in the Ravens building.
The way that Carls plays and his creativity with his mind and how detailed he is, it's like mind-blowing.
We will build a true team built on toughness, fundamentals, team that plays together, and we will work to be the best team in the National Football League.
This wasn't just another offseason for the Baltimore Ravens. This is not the same Ravens team that we are all used to. After spending months covering this team this offseason and years prior to that, you can hear the difference from the coaches, from the players. So today I want to take a step back and look at this offseason as a whole, because I think the Ravens have changed a lot more than most people realize. The offseason changes started pretty much immediately following the regular season. Steve Bisciotti made a bold move and fired John Harbaugh after 18 seasons with the Ravens, after they failed to make the playoffs, missed a field goal in Pittsburgh, and lost the division, and the Steelers ended up going to get bounced in the first round. But the Ravens are used to making the playoffs. This was a team that was ascending, that was in 23 in the AFC Championship, was the number 1 seed in the AFC. In 24, they get knocked out in the divisional round by the Bills. And then in 25, they don't even make the playoffs.
We led the league in giving up big leads in the fourth quarter. It's not something that winning organizations do. We have underperformed based on our seeding in the playoffs. Timing is never right. You can't say that timing is perfect in anything, but I got to the point that I didn't believe that I would feel regret after I made that decision. And that's what instinct is. When you finally get to the point that you're pretty damn sure that you are not going to regret the decision a day or a week later, then that's the time to make the decision.
After a very thorough head coaching search, the Ravens landed on Jesse Minter, former Chargers defensive coordinator, former Michigan defensive coordinator, was close to Jim Harbaugh, and worked with the Ravens back in 2017 with John Harbaugh and Mike Macdonald, and has a very similar style and scheme of defense to Mike Macdonald, who just won the Super Bowl, who was the Ravens defensive coordinator in 23 when they went to the AFC Championship, had the number 1 defense in the NFL, had the Triple Crown defense, least points allowed, most turnovers, and most sacks. And this Jesse Minter hire was a little bit of familiarity with the organization since he's been here before, but I think it's mainly about bringing defense back to Baltimore on a consistent basis. Jesse Minter is one of the top defensive minds in all of football and is going to remain the play caller of the defense. So he will design the defense and call the defense.
I do plan on calling the defense. Great question. I think that's a strength of mine. I think that's one of the reasons I'm sitting here. But I also think it's my leadership qualities. And I really look forward. I have a really good process, I feel, to do what I need to do to be ready to call the game. but also have the ability to be the head coach.
And Jesse Minter being hired as the Ravens' new head coach was really just the start of the coaching overhaul. It wasn't just a new head coach and you keep a lot of coordinators. They cleaned house. All new coordinators, all new positional coaches. Jesse Minter steals Declan Doyle from Chicago, who is their offensive coordinator, makes a lateral move over to Baltimore because he is getting full play calling duties for the first time in his career. He's only 29 years old, but the players have been raving about Declan Doyle so far this offseason. One of the first coaching hires Jesse Minter makes is Dwayne Ledford, who is the Falcons offensive line coach, one of the most respected offensive line coaches in the entire league. The Ravens have struggled with their offensive line play these past few years. On defense, Jesse brings back a familiar face, a great leader, a great D-line coach, and Anthony Weaver, who was here before, got some experience as a defensive coordinator with the Dolphins, and then now is back as a DC in Baltimore. He won't be calling plays, but great guy to have on the staff. And Jesse Minter filled out this staff with a healthy mixture of college coaches and experienced NFL coaches. He brings over Lou Esposito from Michigan as the D-line coach, outside linebacker coach Harlan Bauer from Duke, Mike Mickens from Notre Dame to be the defensive back coach and pass game coordinator, PJ Volker from Navy, who's now the safety coach, and then he pairs that with experience and hires Joe Lombardi as the senior offensive assistant, who was recently a coordinator with the Broncos. This staff is extremely new, it's balanced, it's innovative, and the Ravens have completely overhauled their entire coaching staff from top to bottom. And this change was absolutely needed. The Ravens were running stale. They kind of went backwards in the coordinator department. You know, John Harbaugh had made some fantastic hires throughout the years of him being a head coach. He never called the plays or designed the plays himself, but was great at hiring coordinators, you know, was also the start of Mike Macdonald and Jesse Minter in the NFL, gave these guys opportunity, you know, gave Mike Macdonald the defensive coordinator position. Those were incredible hires, and then went backwards a little bit these past few years, and we weren't able to adjust. You know, we had some injuries with the roster as well, but I think a lot of the Ravens' issues were coaching, and with a lot of the exits that the Ravens were having, heartbreaking exits at the end of the seasons, I think this team just needed a lot of change and overhaul and needed to become a lot smarter in the modern game of football, and needed coaches that are innovative and really understand the X's and O's of football inside and out. And I really think that they have upgraded in a massive way by getting Jesse Minter to be the head coach and run the defense, and also Declan Doyle on offense. There has been so much hype around Declan Doyle this offseason. Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, the players are pumped. They are super excited, and you haven't seen this level of excitement in the offseason, especially this early in the offseason, in a long time.
At times, you know, you're going to see pre-snap fouls, and really by the time we get to the season, that needs to disappear. That's unacceptable on any snap.
He is like a human computer, right? Like when he starts spitting out like offensive information and plays from his past, it's like he's got like this Rolodex of plays in his head. Like he's almost like he has a photographic memory.
Look who he's worked with in the past. He's worked with Sean Payton. He's worked with Ben Johnson.
I'm having fun with it. You know, all of us having fun with the new system, and I feel like I should know what coach is thinking when he's calling certain players on the field, so it should make my job a lot easier.
You know, we have to stress our guys. We have to work on different cadences. We got to do things in practice. You're going to toe that line. We're giving these guys a lot intentionally and really trying to see what they can handle. It's really important during the spring. We could kind of take it easy and not stress these guys, and it would be a lot simpler. And yet I think growth happens on the other side of stress.
Yeah, stuff that I've never seen, and like plays and routes and like stuff to help you get open, and he teach you in a certain way where you remember the plays where there's not too much stress on you, but he give you a lot, and he talk fast too, so it's like I'm like, hey coach, chill. He a genius though.
Attention to detail, like that's his MO. It's smart attention to detail, and then, you know, we're going to be, you know, the hardest working team in the NFL. We're going to hustle the ball. This is the pillars of his scheme.
People need to enjoy great things when it's happening. Don't try to prepare for when things don't go his way. You know, that's what I feel. Just enjoy it.
It wasn't just the coaching staff overhaul that makes this team so much different as well. That definitely plays a huge role, but the Ravens have been attacking the roster and the weaknesses of the roster this offseason as well, and with a big name at the start. You know, we made the trade for Max Crosby for 2 first-round picks, 26 and 27 first-round pick. The Ravens then don't like what they see when they're giving him a physical. They end up backing out of the trade and immediately, 12 hours later, signed Trey Hendrickson, who is one of the top most productive pass rushers in the entire league, was in the AFC North. The Ravens are very familiar with him. He's very familiar with the Ravens.
That was almost more exciting, is to stay in the North. It's gritty football, and it's the type of football I like to play, and winning games is the most exciting thing about being here in the Ravens building. I mean, there's a standard of winning here that's unmatched across the league, and getting to that and continuing to build in what this identity for this unique season is, with new coaches, new faces, and me in a new uniform, I think that's what's most exciting about this opportunity.
And the Ravens really struggled to get to the quarterback last season. A lot of that had to do with the Madubuike injury, and just Zach Orr, being the defensive coordinator in general, wasn't able to find creative enough ways and make enough adjustments to get to the quarterback. It just wasn't happening, you know, and the Ravens decided to start swinging to make sure that they're getting to the quarterback this season. And it started with Trey Hendrickson, who is going to draw a lot of attention on this defensive line. It's going to free up Mike Green. It's going to free up Tavius and Zion Young, who we drafted, that we'll talk about. Oh, and by the way, Nnamdi Madubuike is expected to play football for the Ravens this season. Add that to Travis Jones. They signed Calais Campbell. The Ravens have made a lot of aggressive moves to make sure that this defensive line and edge room is as stacked as possible, and that we are going to have the best chance of getting to the quarterback. And you pair all that talent with Jesse Minter, who is going to get to the quarterback in creative ways and truly attack the quarterback. Mike Green was talking about it this offseason, how they have been taught in the past years to contain more than rush, and he knows that Jesse Minter is going to let all of these pass rushers pin their ears back, make their moves, and attack the quarterback.
Different coaches have different philosophies for how they want you to attack the quarterback, or how they want you to pass rush. I just feel like the philosophy that was being coached to us last year probably wasn't the best for us. You kind of have to shape around your pass rushers and like what they're good at. And you know, when we get in certain situations where we can't really attack the quarterback or can't really get into certain calls, you know, that takes a lot away from your pass rushing ability. Just that versus now, you know, Jesse, when he was at the Chargers, that kind of just speaks for itself. When he came over here and we're going over the philosophies and things like that, it aligned up to what a lot of us bring to the table. So yeah, I'm excited for myself, and also like the other guys are in the room. I would say it's a little bit more attacking rather than containing, if that makes sense. Yeah. I feel like last year we was a little bit more containing, a little bit more conservative, but I think now it's like, yo, like go, you attack the quarterback, do your best moves, like whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that can bring a lot of more things to the table, especially when you got these great pass rushers in the room.
The Ravens also did something different this offseason and addressed the offensive line early with a premier pick, taking Vanga Ioane at 14, who is going to play right guard for the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens have had guard issues these past few years. Voorhees at left guard, Fa'alele at right guard these past 2 years. It just has not worked out. They have been below average on the offensive line, and it has showed. Lamar Jackson has battled more injuries. He's been under constant pressure, but the Ravens went out and signed John Simpson to be the left guard. They still have Voorhees. They still have Emory Jones Jr., and they drafted Vanga Ioane, who is all but a sure plug-and-play Pro Bowl right guard for years to come. The Ravens don't have a history of taking interior offensive linemen very high in the draft. I know they took Tyler Linderbaum with their second first-round pick a few years ago, but it is not normal for the Ravens to go take a guard at a premier pick position like 14, but it was that big of a problem, and I think that they plugged that hole pretty efficiently here, and also got a lot meaner on the defensive side of the ball in the second round by drafting Zion Young. The Ravens really focused in early in this draft on the trenches, and that was something that we were a little soft and was a weakness of our team on both sides of the ball. And adding Zion Young, adding Trey Hendrickson, adding Calais Campbell, getting Madubuike back, that defensive line is boosted in a big way. And then on offense, you know, drafting Vanga Ioane, plugging him in, getting John Simpson added to the mix, still having all your depth that you did have. The Ravens upgraded the trenches and got a lot more physical of a football team, which is a huge change from the past few years. Every move the Ravens have made this offseason, from the coaching hires to the free agent additions to the way that they drafted, it reinforces the same identity. This is a team that wants to be physical, that wants to be a bully, which is what we're used to in Baltimore. All of these changes guarantee nothing. You still got to go play football in September. There's still a long season to play out here. But after covering this team very closely for the last few months, I don't think it's just about a new coaching staff or new energy in the building. The Ravens changed who they are and how they are about to play. If you've enjoyed the first episode of Sleeper Ravens, please hit the subscribe button. If you don't know who I am, my name is Ryan. I've been running a channel called The Flock Rundown, covering the Ravens for the last 4 seasons. This will be the 4th season, and am now starting a new channel, still running the Flock Rundown, but also will be working with Sleeper and running this Sleeper Ravens channel, bringing some different style videos. We'll do a lot of different stuff as well, not just macro narrative documentary style, but also some film breakdowns and collabs with other creators and stuff like that. So if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button. I appreciate you guys so much, and till next time.